What if I told you that the difference between the richest man you know and the poorest man you know is not luck? It is not money. It is not even talent. It is one single thing. And that one thing is so simple, a child could understand it, yet so hard that most people go their whole lives without ever mastering it. That one thing is the discipline of your own mind. Sit with that for a moment. Because today, I am going to show you something that changed my life, and it can change yours too. My name is Napoleon Hill, and for many years I studied the richest, the most powerful, and the most successful men and women of my time. I sat with them, I listened to them, I asked them hard questions, and after studying hundreds of them, I found something they all had in common. It was not their family, it was not their schooling, it was not even their starting money. What they all had in common was this: they had trained their mind to obey them, instead of letting their mind control them. Think about that for a second. Most people let their mind run wild, like a wild horse with no rider. Fear jumps in and they freeze. Doubt jumps in and they quit. Laziness jumps in and they waste the whole day doing nothing. But the men and women who build great lives, they do something different. They sit in the rider's seat. They hold the reins. They tell their mind where to go, instead of letting their mind drag them wherever it wants. This is what I call discipline of the mind. And once you learn it, everything else in your life starts to fall into place. Your health improves. Your work improves. Your money improves. Your relationships improve. It is like pulling one string and watching the whole curtain rise. So today, I want to walk with you step by step and show you exactly how to train your mind, the same way I saw it done by the greatest men I ever studied. This is not going to be a boring lecture. I am going to tell you real stories, simple stories, stories about regular people, so you can see with your own eyes how this works. By the end of this, you will not just understand discipline. You will feel it burning inside your chest, ready to be used. Let me start with a story. Many years ago, I met a young man who had almost nothing. His clothes were old. His shoes had holes in them. He worked in a small shop, and every night he went home tired, hungry, and a little bit angry at the world. He used to say to me, "Mr. Hill, I was born poor, and I guess I will die poor too." He believed his life was already decided. He believed there was nothing he could do about it. But one day, something happened to him. He read a small line in an old book that said, "Whatever the mind can believe, it can achieve." At first, he laughed at it. It sounded too simple, too good to be true. But that night, lying in his bed, he could not stop thinking about those words. He asked himself a question that changed everything. He asked, "What if it is true? What if my mind really is the reason I am stuck?" From that night on, this young man started to watch his own thoughts. And what he found shocked him. Almost every thought in his head was negative. "I can't. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't get rich. It's too late for me." His mind, left alone, was working against him, every single day like a leak in a boat, slowly pulling him down. So he made a decision. He decided that every time a negative thought came into his head, he would catch it and replace it with a stronger thought. It was hard at first. It felt strange, almost silly, but he kept doing it, every single day. Slowly, his thinking began to change, and as his thinking changed, his actions changed too. He started waking up earlier. He started asking his boss for more responsibility. He started reading books at night instead of complaining about his life. 10 years later, that same young man owned 3 shops of his own. When I asked him what changed, he did not talk about luck. He did not talk about some rich uncle who helped him. He said one sentence that I have never forgotten. He said, "I stopped letting my mind boss me around, and I started bossing my mind instead." That is discipline of the mind. And my friend listening to me right now, that same power is sitting inside you too. Here is something I need you to understand deeply. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant in it, positive or negative, will grow. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and laziness, you will harvest a life full of fear, doubt, and laziness. But if you plant seeds of courage, hope, and hard work, you will harvest a life full of courage, hope, and hard work. The soil does not choose. The soil simply grows whatever you plant. Your mind works the exact same way. The problem is, most people never learn to be the gardener of their own mind. They let anyone and anything throw seeds in there. The news throws in fear. Angry people throw in doubt. Bad habits throw in laziness. And then, at the end of the year, they wonder why their life looks the way it does. They forget that they are the ones holding the garden gate. They are the ones who decide what gets planted. So let me ask you something important. What have you been planting in your mind lately? Have you been feeding it with doubt, worry, and complaints? Or have you been feeding it with purpose, hope, and strong decisions? Be honest with yourself, because this is where real change begins. Now, let me tell you about the first step to disciplining your mind. And this step is so important that I want you to remember it for the rest of your life. The first step is having a clear, burning purpose. Most people float through life like a boat with no engine and no direction. They wake up, they go to work, they come home, they sleep, and they do it again the next day without ever asking themselves, what am I actually trying to build here? And because they have no clear purpose, their mind has nothing strong to hold on to. So it grabs onto fear instead. It grabs onto worry instead. It grabs onto small distractions instead. But the moment you decide on a clear purpose, something amazing happens inside you. Your mind finally has a job to do. It stops wandering. It starts working for you, day and night. Even while you sleep, trying to find ways to help you reach that purpose. I remember a woman I studied who had lost almost everything. Her husband had passed away. She had 3 children to feed, and she had very little money left. Many people in her position would have given up. They would have said, "This is too hard. I can't do this." But instead, she sat down one night after her children were asleep, and she wrote one sentence on a piece of paper. She wrote, "I will build a stable, happy life for my children, no matter what it takes." That single sentence became her purpose. It was not fancy. It was not complicated, but it was clear, and it was burning inside her heart. From that day forward, every decision she made, she measured against that sentence. Should she spend money on something unnecessary? No, because it did not serve her purpose. Should she stay up late learning a new skill to earn more money? Yes, because it served her purpose. Within a few years, this same woman built a small business from her kitchen table. It started with baking bread for neighbors. Then it grew into a small bakery. Then it grew into 2 bakeries. Her children grew up watching their mother work with fire in her eyes, not because she had some magic trick, but because she had a burning purpose that disciplined her mind every single day. This is the secret nobody tells you. Discipline is not about forcing yourself through willpower alone. Willpower gets tired. Willpower runs out by the end of a hard day. But purpose, real burning purpose, does not get tired. It pulls you forward, even on the days when your willpower is gone. So I want you to ask yourself a serious question right now. What is your purpose? Not your job title. Not what your parents wanted for you. Not what your friends are doing. What is the one thing that, if you achieved it, would make your whole life feel worth living? Sit with that question. Do not rush past it. Because until you answer it clearly, your mind will keep wandering. The same way a ship without a destination just drifts wherever the wind blows it. Once you have a purpose, the next step is learning to guard your mind from negative thinking. This is where most people fail again and again, without even realizing it. Let me explain it like this. Imagine your mind is a house. Every day, thoughts knock on the door, wanting to come inside. Some of these thoughts are like good friends. They bring you hope, ideas, courage, and energy. But other thoughts are like thieves. They want to come inside and steal your peace, your confidence, and your dreams. Most people leave their front door wide open. Any thought, good or bad, can walk right in and make itself at home. But the disciplined mind, the mind of a person who is building a great life, stands at that door like a guard. When a thought knocks, the guard checks it first. Are you here to help me, or are you here to hurt me? If the thought is fear, doubt, or excuse, the guard says, "Not today," and shuts the door. If the thought is courage, hope, or a new idea, the guard opens the door wide and says, "Welcome. Come on in. This is not something you do one time. This is something you do every single day, sometimes every single hour. It is a habit, just like brushing your teeth. And just like brushing your teeth, it feels strange at first, but after a while, it becomes automatic. Let me give you a real example of this. I once knew a young boy who had a stutter. When he spoke, the other children in his school laughed at him. He came home crying almost every day, telling his mother that he was stupid, that something was wrong with him, that he would never be able to speak like normal people. His mother could have agreed with him. She could have felt sorry for him and let him believe he was broken. But instead, she sat him down one evening and said something powerful. She said, "Your stutter is not a curse. It is a message. It means you were born to overcome something, and when you do, you will be stronger than anyone who never had to fight for their words." At first, the boy did not believe her. But every single day, his mother repeated similar words to him. Slowly, the boy began to guard his own mind. When the thought came, "I am stupid," he learned to replace it with, "I am learning to speak with power." When the thought came, "Everyone will laugh at me," he learned to replace it with, "One day my words will help people." That boy grew up, still with a small stutter, but with something much stronger, an unshakable mind. He became a teacher. Not just any teacher, but one of the most loved teachers in his town, because he understood pain, and he understood how to fight fear with faith. His students did not remember him for being perfect. They remembered him for never giving up, and for teaching them to never give up either. This is the power of guarding your mind. You cannot always control what happens to you. You cannot control if people laugh at you, if life is unfair to you, if you were born with less money or fewer advantages than others. But you can always control what you allow to live inside your own mind. Always, no matter what. Now, let me talk to you about something that destroys more dreams than almost anything else in this world. And that thing is fear. Fear is sneaky. It does not always show up loud and obvious. Sometimes fear shows up quietly, wearing a disguise. It disguises itself as laziness. It disguises itself as, "I'll start tomorrow." It disguises itself as, "I need to research more before I begin." It disguises itself as, "What if people judge me?" But underneath all these disguises, it is still fear, whispering the same lie over and over again. You are not enough. You will fail. Stay where it is safe. Here is the truth I learned after studying hundreds of successful people. None of them were fearless. Not one. Every single person who ever built something great felt fear. The difference is not that they had no fear. The difference is that they refused to let fear make their decisions for them. I remember a man who wanted to start his own small farm. He had saved a little bit of money, and he had a plan, but every single night, fear visited him. What if it rains too much and ruins your crops? What if it doesn't rain enough? What if you lose everything you saved? These thoughts kept him awake for weeks. One night, he finally sat up in his bed and said something out loud to himself. He said, "Fear, I hear you, but I am not going to let you drive my life anymore." The next morning, he bought his first small piece of land. Was he still scared? Yes, but he had made a decision that fear could speak to him, but fear could not control him. That first year was hard. He lost some of his crops to bad weather, just like fear had warned him. But because he had already decided to keep moving no matter what fear said, he did not quit. He learned from his mistakes. He planted differently. He studied harder. By the third year, his small farm was feeding his whole family and bringing in extra money to save. By the 10th year, he had one of the most respected farms in his area. If he had let fear make the decision that first night, none of that would have happened. He would have stayed comfortable and safe and poor and slowly, quietly unhappy, wondering for the rest of his life what could have happened if he had just tried. I want you to remember this. Fear will never fully disappear. Even the bravest people you admire still feel it. The goal is not to wait until fear is gone before you act. The goal is to act even while fear is still talking. Because every time you take action despite fear, fear gets a little bit smaller and your discipline gets a little bit stronger. But every time you let fear win, fear gets a little bit bigger and it becomes harder to fight next time. So today, whatever it is you have been putting off because you are scared, I want you to see it clearly for what it is. It is not really about being unready. It is fear wearing a disguise. And now that you can see through the disguise, you have power over it. Let us talk now about another key piece of a disciplined mind, and that is persistence. Persistence simply means continuing, even when it is hard, even when you want to quit, even when nothing seems to be working yet. This might be the single most underrated power in the entire world. People love to talk about talent. People love to talk about luck. But persistence, quiet, steady persistence, has built more success stories than talent and luck combined. Let me tell you about a woman who wanted to become a nurse. She grew up in a poor family, and school had always been hard for her. She failed her first nursing exam. Some of her classmates laughed. Her own uncle told her gently but honestly that maybe nursing was not meant for her, and maybe she should try something easier. She went home that night and cried for hours. But after she cried, something inside her shifted. She looked in the mirror and said, "I failed a test. I did not fail as a person." The next morning she went back to her books. She studied differently this time. She asked for help from teachers she used to be too shy to talk to. She woke up earlier. She stayed up later. She failed the second exam too. This time even fewer people believed in her. But she kept going. She told herself, "Every failure is only proof that I am trying." The people who never fail are usually the people who never try anything hard. On her third attempt, she passed. Not with the highest score in her class, but she passed. Today, that same woman has worked as a nurse for over 20 years. And she has told me that some of her proudest moments have come from helping frightened patients feel safe. Patients who reminded her of herself on the night she almost gave up. Here is what I want you to notice about that story. It was not talent that got her through nursing school. Plenty of naturally talented students probably gave up along the way, the moment things got hard. What got her through was persistence, the simple, humble decision to keep trying one more time, again and again, until she succeeded. Persistence is a decision, not a feeling. You will not always feel like continuing. Some days you will feel completely empty, completely tired, completely ready to quit. But persistence does not wait for feelings. Persistence says, "I will act today, whether I feel like it or not, because my purpose is bigger than my mood." This is where discipline and persistence connect perfectly. A disciplined mind does not run on feelings alone. It runs on decisions. It says, "I decided to do this thing, and I will keep doing it, even on the days my feelings try to talk me out of it." Now let me talk about something that ties everything together, and this is one of the most powerful secrets I ever discovered. It is the power of the words you speak to yourself and the words you allow others to speak into your life. Every single day you are talking to yourself, whether you notice it or not. If you burn your toast in the morning, do you say, "I'm so clumsy, I always mess things up"? Or do you say, "That happens sometimes, let me try again"? These small, quiet conversations happen inside your head hundreds of times a day and over months and years. They shape the entire story you believe about yourself. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not smart enough," your mind will believe you, and it will start looking for proof to support that story. It will remember every mistake you make and forget every success. But if you constantly tell yourself, "I am learning, I am growing, I am capable," your mind will believe that instead, and it will start looking for proof to support that story too. It will notice your progress. It will remember your wins. It will encourage you to keep going. This is not about lying to yourself or pretending everything is perfect. It is about being fair to yourself. Most people are far harsher to themselves than they would ever be to a friend. If your friend made a mistake, you would probably say, "It's okay. We all mess up sometimes. Try again." But when you make the exact same mistake, you call yourself stupid, lazy, or worthless. Why is that fair? It is not. I want you to start speaking to yourself the way a wise, loving teacher would speak to a student who is trying their best. Firm when needed, but always encouraging. Honest about mistakes, but never cruel. This single shift, learning to speak kindly and powerfully to yourself, can change the entire direction of your life. There is another piece to this too. Be careful who you allow to speak into your mind. Some people, even people who love you, will fill your head with doubt. They might not mean any harm. They might even think they are protecting you. But if you constantly surround yourself with people who say, "That's too risky. That will never work. Stay safe, don't try," you will absorb those words, and slowly, they will become your own inner voice too. This does not mean you cut off everyone who disagrees with you. It means you become aware, very aware, of whose words you let sink deep into your heart, and whose words you simply let pass by like wind. Surround yourself as much as you can with people who believe in growth, who believe in trying, who believe in hope. Their words will feed your mind good seeds, the same way negative people feed it weeds. Now, let me talk about one more piece that many people overlook completely, and that is the power of action. You can have the clearest purpose in the world. You can guard your mind perfectly. You can speak kindly to yourself every day. But if you never take action, none of it turns into a real result. Thoughts alone do not build a business. Thoughts alone do not pay bills. Thoughts alone do not change your life. Thoughts must be followed by action, or they simply stay as dreams floating in your head, never touching the real world. I want you to understand something important here. You do not need to feel ready before you take action. In fact, almost nobody ever feels fully ready. If you wait until you feel ready, you might wait your entire life. Instead, disciplined people take action first, and confidence grows afterward as a result of that action. Think of it like learning to swim. You do not become confident in the water by standing on the shore, thinking about swimming. You become confident by getting into the water, splashing around awkwardly at first, maybe swallowing some water, maybe feeling scared, but slowly, with practice, your body learns and your confidence grows. The same is true with anything in life. Confidence is built through action, not before it. Let me tell you about a young man I met who dreamed of becoming a public speaker. The problem was, every time he stood in front of a group, his hands shook, his voice cracked, and his mind went blank. He told me, "Mr. Hill, I will start speaking once I get over my fear." I told him something that surprised him. I said, "You will not get over your fear by waiting. You will get over your fear by speaking again and again, badly at first, until it becomes easier." He did not like hearing that, but he tried it anyway. His first speech, in front of a small group of 10 people, was shaky and awkward. He forgot half of what he wanted to say. Some people in the crowd looked bored. He walked away feeling embarrassed. But he did not quit. He spoke again the next month, and the month after that. Each time it got a little bit easier. His voice shook a little less. His mind went blank a little less often. 2 years later, that same man was speaking in front of hundreds of people. And he told me that the fear never fully disappeared, but he had learned to speak even while feeling it. And that made all the difference. This is what disciplined action looks like. It is not about waiting for perfect conditions. It is not about waiting for fear to disappear completely. It is about deciding, I will move forward today, even if I am scared, even if I am unsure, even if it feels uncomfortable. Every single time you do this, you build a little more discipline and a little more confidence until one day you look back and realize you have become someone completely different from who you used to be. Let us talk now about faith, because faith is the quiet fuel behind every disciplined mind that ever accomplished something great. When I say faith, I am not only talking about religious faith, though for many people, That plays a big part. I am talking about a deep, steady belief that your effort matters, that your purpose is worth chasing, and that somehow, some way, if you keep showing up and doing the right things, your life will move forward, even when you cannot yet see how. Faith is what keeps you walking through the dark part of the journey, the part where you have already put in months or years of work, but you still cannot see the results yet. This is the part where most people quit. They say, "I've tried hard enough, and nothing has changed, so I guess it's not going to work." But the people who go on to build something truly great, they hold on to faith exactly at this point, when it is hardest, when there is no visible proof yet that their effort is working. I think of a farmer who plants seeds in the ground. For weeks, nothing seems to happen on the surface. If the farmer judged his success only by what he could see immediately, he would dig up the seeds in frustration and give up. But a wise farmer understands that growth is happening underground, quietly, invisibly, before it ever shows up above the soil. He waters the ground. He pulls the weeds. He keeps caring for what he cannot yet see, because he has faith in the process. Your dreams work the exact same way. While you are studying, while you are practicing, while you are showing up every day, even when it feels pointless, growth is happening inside you, even if you cannot see it yet on the outside. Your skills are strengthening. Your character is strengthening. Your discipline is strengthening. And one day, often when you least expect it, all of that invisible growth breaks through the surface, and people around you say, "Wow, that success came out of nowhere," when really it came from months or years of quiet, faithful effort. So if you are in a season right now where you feel like nothing is working, where you have been trying and trying with no visible results, I want you to hear this clearly. That does not mean it is not working. It might simply mean you are still in the underground part of the journey, the part where the roots are growing, even though you cannot see them yet. Do not judge your progress only by what is visible. Trust the process. Keep watering the seeds. Now, I want to bring all of these pieces together because discipline of the mind is not really one single thing. It is a combination of several habits working together, like instruments in an orchestra, each one adding something important to the whole song. You start with a clear purpose, something that pulls you forward with real meaning. Then you guard your mind carefully, refusing to let fear, doubt, and negativity live inside you unchallenged. Then you learn to face fear without waiting for it to disappear first. You practice persistence, choosing to continue again and again based on decision rather than feeling. You speak to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would give to someone you love. You take real action every single day, even small action, because thoughts alone change nothing. And through all of it, you hold on to faith, trusting that your quiet, consistent effort is building something real, even during the times you cannot see it yet. When all of these pieces work together, something incredible happens. You stop being a person who is controlled by their circumstances, and you become a person who controls their own mind, and through their mind, controls the direction of their entire life. I want to tell you one final story, because I think it captures everything we have talked about today. There was once a man who had failed at almost everything he tried. His first business failed. His second business failed too. People in his town started to whisper about him, calling him unlucky, calling him a dreamer who could never make anything work. Even some of his own family members quietly stopped believing in him. Most people, after 2 failures like that, would have quit completely. And honestly, this man came very close to quitting too. There was one night, sitting alone, staring at unpaid bills, where he seriously considered giving up on his dreams forever and just accepting a small, safe, unhappy life. But that night, he remembered something his grandmother used to tell him when he was a boy. She used to say, "The mind that refuses to give up cannot be defeated, only delayed." He sat with those words for a long time, and slowly, something inside him shifted. He realized that his failures were not proof that he was destined to fail. They were simply proof that his first two attempts were not the right path yet. So he made a decision that night, a quiet, powerful decision that nobody else even knew about. He decided that he would keep going, not blindly, but wisely learning from every mistake, guarding his mind from the whispers of his town, and holding on to faith even without proof yet that things would work out. His third business started small, almost embarrassingly small. But this time, he ran it differently. He listened more. He planned more carefully. He controlled his fear instead of letting it control him. He kept showing up day after day, even on the days it felt pointless. Slowly, that third business began to grow, not overnight, not in some magical instant way, but steadily month after month, year after year. Eventually, that same man who had been mocked as unlucky became one of the most respected business owners in his entire region. And when people asked him his secret, he never talked about luck. He always said the same thing. He said, "I did not become successful because I stopped failing. I became successful because I disciplined my mind to keep going, no matter how many times I failed." That story is not rare. That story repeats itself over and over again throughout history, in every country, in every generation. The people who build extraordinary lives are almost never the people who never struggle. They are the people who learn to discipline their minds through the struggle, refusing to let fear, doubt, or failure have the final word. And here is the most important part of everything I have shared with you today. This power is not reserved for special people. It is not reserved for people born into money, or people with perfect circumstances, or people who never feel scared. This power belongs to every single person willing to train their mind, one day at a time, one decision at a time. That means it belongs to you too. Right now, today, you have the same ability to plant strong seeds in your mind instead of weak ones. You have the same ability to face your fear instead of hiding from it. You have the same ability to keep going after failure instead of quitting. You have the same ability to speak kindly and powerfully to yourself. You have the same ability to take action, even small action, even imperfect action, starting today. Nothing outside of you needs to change first. Not your money, not your circumstances, not other people's opinions of you. The very first change, the change that leads to every other change, happens quietly, inside your own mind. So I want to leave you with this. Somewhere inside you, there is a purpose waiting to be claimed. There is a version of you who has already decided to stop letting fear make the decisions. There is a version of you who speaks kindly to yourself, who takes daily action, who holds on to faith even in the dark, quiet seasons. That version of you is not far away. That version of you is available right now, the moment you decide to discipline your mind. Do not wait for tomorrow to begin. Do not wait until you feel ready, because that feeling may never come on its own. Begin today, in this exact moment, by choosing one small action that moves you toward your purpose. Then do it again tomorrow, and again the day after that. This is how ordinary people build extraordinary lives. Not through some magical shortcut, but through the quiet, steady discipline of the mind, repeated daily until it becomes who you are. Discipline your mind, and I promise you, everything else will follow. If this message inspired you today, subscribe to Zudda Principles and turn on notifications so you never miss our next motivational video. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement today. Remember, your future begins with the choices you make today. Until next time, keep believing in yourself and keep moving forward.